Hi everyone, my name is Eric Williams and I'm an advisor here at OISS. I'd like to welcome you to UC Santa Barbara. If you are joining us for fall 2020 quarter, you'll want to pay attention to these tips as it will help you maintain your status while you study in the United States for fall quarter. If you're going to be joining us for winter quarter or another quarter later in the year, or another time. These will also be helpful to you, but just keep in mind that things may change and we will let you know if there will be an updated presentation or other presentation that you'll need to attend, whether it's in person or online. Before we begin, the OISS wishes to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this place and all land upon which the university is located, and pay our respects to the Chumash elders, past, present, and future, for they hold the memories, the traditions, and the culture of this area, which has become a place of learning for people from all over the world. So I'm just going to be going over some tips and things that you need to be aware of while you're studying in the United States. So this is for students who are physically present at UCSB. So first, your mission as an F1 student is to stay in good academic standing and maintain a full 12 units each quarter. Follow United States immigration regulations, which I'll be going through today. Know the UCSB Student Conduct Code. So this is a conduct code and rules that all UCSB students need to follow. And you can find this just by Googling UCSB Student Conduct Code. And it's important that you review the Student Conduct Code because you will be held to the standards and rules that are included in that conduct code. Lastly, check your UCSB email. Campus and OISS will be emailing you to your UCSB email. So it's very important that you are checking your UCSB email address regularly because we will be sending not only updates on campus policy, but you may be getting emails from our office pertaining to your specific immigration record. So it's very important that you check your UCSB email and you do not have it forwarded because sometimes those forwards will get sent to your spam and you'll miss important information. So when you arrive at Santa Barbara, physically in the United States, you will need to upload 2 documents to your International Student Portal. This is the same portal that you use to upload your documents to receive your I-20. So first is the visa stamp. If you are not a Canadian citizen, you will have received a visa stamp in your passport, which allowed you to enter the United States. So please make sure that you upload a copy of that visa stamp so we have it in your record. Second is the I-94 record, and this was provided to you at the point of entry when you were processed by the United States immigration officer at the airport. So first, your visa issued by the Department of State. Think of this as the key to your house. You use this visa to get into the United States, but once you're here, it has no bearing on your immigration status in the United States. So it really is just a key to get into the US. Once you're here, you will not use it again until you depart and come back to the US. Just make sure that if you do travel outside the United States, before you return, make sure that your visa is still valid and has not expired. So really, the visa is only used at the border at the point of entry into the United States. A lot of students get confused thinking that their visa is what keeps them legally in the United States. But once you are here, then you are able to stay in the United States as long as you have a valid I-20 and your I-94 record reflects your correct status. So do not worry if your visa expires while you're in the United States and you continue to maintain your student status. You can remain in the US with an expired visa. Next, the I-94, which is issued by Customs and Border Protection, which you will encounter at the border, which is at the airport if you were to drive or take a boat to the United States. So one thing we want to make sure that you check is for your class of admission and admit until date. These two pieces of information are very important, and make sure that you have been admitted to the United States in the correct status. So if your visa is an F1 visa, your class of admission should say F1. And your admit until date should always be D/S. And this means duration of status, and just refers back to the end date on your I-20. So as long as your I-20 is active and you are an enrolled student, you are able to stay in the United States. It's very important that when you go through the border, you check your I-94 record as soon as possible, because if this was entered incorrectly, then you'll need to contact the Customs and Border Protection to have it corrected. If you have any questions about how to do that, you can absolutely reach out to OISS and we can help you with that process. But it is your responsibility to check your I-94 record every time you come into the United States. If there was an error on the officer's part where they admitted you as a tourist instead of a student, then you would be studying illegally because you were not processed as an F1 student. And that can come back and affect any future immigration status for you, even if it wasn't your error. So it is your responsibility and very important that you check your I-94 record before you get to Santa Barbara. Check it on the way to Santa Barbara after you leave the airport, check it in the airport. However you do it, just check it as soon as it's available so that you can make sure you were processed correctly. Next, your I-20. So you were provided this before you even came to UC Santa Barbara. This is issued by our office and is maintained in the Student and Exchange Visitor Information System, also called SEVIS. So you may hear that a lot from an advisor when you're meeting with them. And that system is managed by the Department of Homeland Security. So our office works in conjunction with the Department of Homeland Security to maintain your student record. We are not part of the Department of Homeland Security. We just work in partnership with them. So we are not the government, but we do work with government systems to ensure that your immigration record is complete and up to date. You will need to pay attention to the program end date on your I-20. So as an undergraduate student, you are given a 4-year I-20, which most students do not need the full 4 years. But if you need the full 4 years or more, then you will need to reach out to our office before your I-20 expires so that we can help you extend your I-20. If your I-20 expires, our office may not be able to help you extend it, and you will need to depart the United States and get a new I-20 before coming back to resume your studies. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you're paying attention to that end date. You also will need a travel signature on page 2 of your I-20. This signature is valid for 1 year. So most students only need to see OISS once a year for a travel signature. So before you depart Santa Barbara, make sure that you're checking the travel signature on page 2 and reach out to us if you think you need a new one. Also, make sure you keep your I-20 updated. So if you change your name, your major, or your education level, your I-20 needs to be updated. So we may send out reminders to you that we have seen an update come through for your I-20 based on a major change, but ultimately it's your responsibility to get a new I-20 if it needs to be updated. So please reach out to OISS and let us know if a new I-20 is necessary. So how do you stay in F1 status? First, you'll need to enroll in at least 12 units each quarter. So unless you are getting permission from OISS to go below 12 units, you must be in 12 units each quarter. Failure to enroll in 12 units can affect your immigration status negatively. If you are having trouble maintaining the 12 units because of academic, personal, or medical issues, come see us immediately so we can provide you with resources or options for going below 12 units. This is not a guarantee, but unless we do not know what is going on, we are not able to help you. So please come see us and we can make sure that you have all the resources available and can get the help that you need. You do need to keep your address updated. So whenever you move to a new California address, you'll update your local address in gold, which is the Gaucho online database. And you'll need to do this within 10 days of your move. So make sure that you are going into gold every time that you move to a new apartment and updating your address. That address will then be sent to our office and we will update your immigration record with that new local address as the Department of Homeland Security requires us to update that in CVIS. Your permanent address in gold should always be an address outside the United States. So as a student, you are considered a non-immigrant here in the US studying as an international student. So we want you to make sure that you're keeping your permanent address in gold as your address outside the United States. And this is necessary for any changes to your I-20. We cannot have a US address in your permanent address in CVIS. So please keep that permanent address in gold as the address outside the US. So now I'm going to talk about how you might lose your F1 status. One way is dropping below 12 units without OISS authorization. So like I mentioned, you always need our permission to drop below 12 units. Next, suspension, which is given to students who have violated the student conduct code. Dismissal, which is also violating the student conduct code. So these two, you'll need to make sure that you have read the student conduct code so you know which rules you have to abide by as a student at UCSB. Academic disqualification is if you are getting poor grades. So if you do feel yourself struggling, which is very easy to do for any student at UCSB on the quarter system, please get help early and often so that we can make sure you're getting the help that you need. There are amazing resources at UCSB for students who need academic help. And this could be anyone who thinks that they need additional assistance. So whether you're an international student or a domestic student, everyone has equal access to these resources. And we encourage you to get help early and often so that you are not getting poor grades and possibly face academic disqualification. Also, criminal citation or arrest on or off campus can also result in you losing your F1 status. So do familiarize yourself with the different laws and regulations for people who are living in the United States. Being an international student is not an excuse for not knowing the rules and laws of the United States. If you have any questions, always seek advice from OISS, and we can help you navigate those laws as they pertain to the United States. So when we say how you to lose your F1 status, this means your I-20 will be terminated and you will be required to depart the United States. So this is very serious and can affect your ability to continue your studies and complete your program here at UCSB. So it's very important that you follow the rules and familiarize yourself not only with UCSB student policy, but also the United States laws and California laws. So one thing we want to make very clear is that paying for someone to do your homework, take a test, or write a paper for you is not acceptable. This will result in the Office of Student Conduct reaching out to you if you end up paying someone to do your work for you, or you plagiarize a paper. This is something that is very common with international students, but it is not tolerated. So we really encourage you to get assistance from your professor, from CLAS, or come to OISS so we can help point you in the right direction for resources and help if you feel like you're struggling. Do not take the easy way out of paying anyone to do your work for you. And this includes on any social media, whether that's a US-based social media company or a social media company abroad. UCSB has very strict policies in terms of academic integrity, and we'll be rolling out more information about what that means for international gauchos. But we want to make it very clear, you are not to do any payment of services for homework, test taking, or writing a paper, because it will be found, and this can affect your ability to even stay as a student at UCSB. So this is taken very seriously and is something that your professors will be able to find out if you've done. Next, no marijuana. So you may be familiar with California and the marijuana laws that allow those who are over 21 to purchase marijuana and take part in it recreationally, legally. However, you are an international student and your visa is federally regulated by the United States. And marijuana is not legal for federal laws. So make sure that you are not partaking in marijuana. This means smoking it, eating it, anything, drinking it, anything like that. Just make sure that you are not taking part in marijuana, because this can affect your ability to study at UCSB. We have had stories of students who have gone through the border and were found to be partaking in marijuana and were sent back home immediately and were not able to enter the United States. So please take this very seriously. All right, next, now that we've discussed how to maintain your status and how not to lose your status, we know a lot of you have questions about wanting to work on campus, which is an amazing opportunity that you absolutely can take part in. So if you wanted to work on campus, which means you are working for UCSB, you do not need special authorization. You can work 20 hours per week maximum when classes are in session. So this means during fall, winter, and spring quarter, you can work 20 hours per week. You cannot report more than 20 hours per week during these times. So please make sure you're working with your employing department so that you are not going over that 20 hours per week, because that is a violation of your status. However, during spring break, winter break, or summer quarter, you are allowed to work over 20 hours a week. So anything over 20 hours a week is allowed during breaks and summer quarter. If you want to work off campus, you do need special authorization from either OISS or a government agency. So if you want to do an off-campus internship, meaning UCSB is not employing you, then you'll want to come to OISS before you start employment so that we can help you get the proper authorization in order for you to be able to work off campus. So these would be considered curricular practical training, also known as CPT, or optional practical training, also known as OPT. As a first year student, you are not eligible to work off campus, but it does not hurt to familiarize yourself with your options, as well as going to the Career Services Center, who can help you locate possible internships and off-campus opportunities for you once you've completed your first year at UCSB. So what is considered on campus? So that generally means your paycheck comes from UCSB. So 99% of those jobs will be on campus physically at UC Santa Barbara. There may be a few opportunities that are located off campus because of different research centers and whatnot that UCSB operates, but you should always ask, are you considered UC Santa Barbara when you're applying to a job if you're not sure? So just double check that and make sure that your paycheck is coming from UC Santa Barbara. That's the safest way to know that you're working on campus. All right, travel. So like I mentioned, you'll need a valid travel signature on page 2 of your I-20, which is valid for 1 year. You'll need your valid F1 visa that is unexpired, a valid passport, current enrollment as a student, a visa for the destination country if necessary. So this means, do you need a tourist visa to go to the location? And that will be up to you to check. We will not be looking to see if you need a visa to go to the country where you're traveling to. That is your responsibility. Please come to OISS for a travel signature at least 3 days before you depart Santa Barbara, so it gives us enough time to process your travel signature. And this is only if you intend to travel internationally. If you are going to be traveling within the United States, you do not need a travel signature. So this would also include Hawaii and Puerto Rico as they're part of the United States. So if you have any questions about whether you're traveling internationally, you can absolutely reach out to OISS and we can help determine whether you need a travel signature or not. We hope that you'll stay connected with us. So even though right now we are remote and not at the Student Resource Building, we are still available to you when you need us. So do not hesitate to email us, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We'll also be sending out regular updates via email to your UCSB email address. And you are always welcome to make an appointment with an advisor via Zoom, and we can always meet with you virtually. Hopefully we'll get to see you all soon. We're so excited that you have selected UC Santa Barbara as your university. And we really, truly hope to see you all as soon as possible. Please stay safe and healthy, and do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions at all. We are here for you, and we are here because of you. So thank you and take care.